welcome to week 2. Now in week 1, we looked at holds. We did the plank, we did the half squat, and we did the tabletop hold. I really hope that you focus on the form that we went over in that. By doing that, it's going to set you up for this week. Now in this week, we also have 3 movements that are going to build on those holds that we're working on last week. We're going to be looking at the push-up. We're going to be looking at the full squat, going up and down, and we're also going to be looking at a movement that I like to call the swing set. Now, something that we want to focus on this week is being aware of what's going on with their body. Don't just do the movement for the sake of doing the movement. All you need to focus on is that one repetition. Do it as beautifully as you can. Then try another one. That's why we're using timed sets when we do this. I'm not focused on how many repetitions you can do. I only want you to do one repetition, do it as beautifully as you can, and then do another like I mentioned earlier. So let's go ahead and look at these movements. You probably have seen these before, but again, like everything, I want you to take a look at the form, be aware of what's going on. The better in tune with your body you can be, the better improvements you're going to be. Or, pardon me, the better improvements that you're going to have in going through this week by really getting strong with these movements as well as improving your flexibility and the control in the movement. First thing we're going to take a look at is the push-up. It's going to start just like we did with the plank last week. We have our hands on the floor, shoulder width apart, fingers are facing forward. We're pushing down and away from the ground with our shoulders over our hands. Elbow pits are facing forward. Our knees are underneath our hips. We have our legs together, knees together. We're going to exhale as we push back into this plank position. From here, keeping our elbow pits facing forward, we drop down into the push-up by letting our elbow pits go back. We slowly go to the ground as we squeeze our butt as tightly as possible. Then we exhale as we push right back up into the starting position. Now, showing you this from the front, you're going to notice that I don't flare my elbows. This is a key point. At no time do we want to push up like this. The push-ups that I like to teach people is where we have our elbows in tight to our sides. We push down and through the floor as if we're pushing our elbows together when we push back up into that top position. So notice now, when I perform this push-up position, that I'm not doing this. Everything is tucked in, tight to the body. From here, I push straight back up into the top position that you practiced last week. Now, what if you can't do this full push-up? Don't worry, I'm going to show you a variation of it right now. We'll start off on our knees and perform the push-up from this position. Elbows go back. If you can only go halfway down, not a problem. Go right back up. Remember, we're focusing on quality of movement. We're actually working on going all the way down into the push-up, pushing right back up. Once you can do that, then you can start from the plank position. Same thing, quarter way down in the very beginning. If that's all you can do, perfectly fine. Halfway, 3/4, finally the full push-up, right back into that top position, making sure that you're focusing on form. Second movement is the squat. Some of you might not be able to go all the way down into a squat. It's perfectly fine. We want to work within our range. We don't want to look at a movement and just try the movement with very bad form. It's not going to help us. So when you're performing a squat, we worked on our half squat last week. If that's as far down as you can go, that's cool. Real nice and easy into that squat. Exhale as you stand back up. And keep going. Remember, when we're performing this squat, we're not letting our knees collapse in, nor are we focusing on the sumo squat. We're going at our own level, making sure that the level that we're at, we do quality repetitions. If you're comfortable in going halfway down, perfect. That's wonderful. These don't need to be fast. Make it pretty. That's the main thing. Now, in order to go all the way down, I'm going to have to take my microphone out of my pocket just for a moment. I'm going to do this here as I go down. I try and sink down into my squat as far as possible, slowly stand back up. If you can't do the squat at all, something that you can do is use a prop. You can use a chair. You can use something that you can place your hands on to balance yourself in order to go deeper and deeper into the squat. Go slowly on this. Focus on quality form. Remember, 1 repetition done beautifully, then repeat that during that set time. The last movement that we're going to be working on is called the swing set. Swing set, one of my favorite movements. When performing this, what I'm going to do is make sure that I have my fingers facing to the side, my arms are locked out, and we're going to start off in this tabletop position that we were working on last week. From this position, I exhale and draw my hips between my hands as far as I can. If you can only go to here, that's perfectly fine, not a problem. As I bring my hips up, I inhale and continue the movement. Exhale. Gradually, as you get better with this movement, you'll find that you'll be able to bring your hips completely through your hands so that your butt is high. Inhale, exhale. However, if you can't perform this movement, not a problem. Remember, this is perfectly fine. You can let your toes come up off of the ground, make the movement a little bit easier. Make sure that you're focusing on keeping your arms locked out. You inhale as you go up, and you exhale as you go back. Now, those are our 3 movements for this week. Thanks to last week, you have the strength. You have the proper quality of movement from those holds and the strength to be able to perform this. Same with this week. We're using these movements in order to build that strength to be able to perform the upcoming movements in the next weeks. 30 seconds per movement. And the last thing I want to say is about breathing. The easiest way to focus on your breath is to smile. So when you're performing these movements, if you smile, it's going to be easier. But if you bring your lips together and squeeze down, it's going to be very tough for your breathing. So something, very easy way to focus on your breathing, simply smile.